All right. All right, so I think we're going to start off tonight this evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Caroline Sullivan, and I welcome you all to the 2022 National Art Honor Society Induction. I'm a senior here at BG, and I will be your mistress of ceremonies this evening. I would first like to thank all of you for being here tonight. School can be very stressful and time-consuming at most points, but we all make sure we all leave time for art, and I think that says a lot about us as students. Because no matter how much homework we have, we still like to express ourselves through art. We are here to appreciate all the time we put into our creations and everything else we have accomplished this year. I know for me, personally, art is my escape in this crazy world, and it means a lot to all of us that you all care as much as we do about art. We are currently working on an exciting mural in the school, the senior mural that members of the Art Society design and paint. This mural takes a lot of time and effort from all senior members of the Art Society, and is all coming along very well. Even though it may not look like it right now, it will be done by the end of the year, I swear. Before we begin the formal induction, I want to welcome a fellow member, Colleen Mon, up to start us off with prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. A prayer for artists. Bless the creators, O God of creation, who by their gifts make the world a more joyful and beautiful realm. Through their labors, they teach us to see more clearly the truth around us. In their inspiration, they call forth wonder and awe in our own living. In their hope and vision, they remind us that life is holy. Bless all who create in your image, O God of creation. Pour your Spirit upon them, that their hearts may sing and their works be fulfilling. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Colleen. The next person I would like to invite up is a member who will be telling her experience, not only in the art program, but at BG as a whole. Please welcome up Senior Molly Mural to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. I am Molly Mural, and I transferred into Bishop Gurdon after going through middle school and started my freshman year here. When I first entered BG, I was very lost and quiet, and I tended to keep to myself a lot. Nowadays, people will hear quite the opposite about me. When I first arrived, I was sort of broken. I had been in a school system that didn't care for me and fellow pupils who didn't care either. It was hard and I felt lonely, and I struggled to find new friends for a while when I first entered BG, having not had any friends in my old school in the first place. If you were to ask me back then if I wanted to leave BG, I would say yes in a heartbeat, but now I'm absolutely devastated that I'm leaving this year. The first club I ever joined was Art Club, and it truly opened me up to a new experience. It's where I made a lot of friends. I had a lot of fun there. I not only got to know my teachers personally, but I got to know other people personally, and it's really where my journey at BG began. Thanks to the art club and the art program, I have been given so many resources to help myself grow as an artist. Lately, I've been practicing 3D art and graphic design, but I also got the chance to do pottery and to do intermediate arts and other beautiful programs that really grew my experience. In my junior year, I decided to join the National Art Honor Society, and I was very excited when I got my invitation into it. Although I didn't do many projects, I gained so much more. I gained friends, and I learned to take my time on my art pieces and to really enjoy what I was doing and to not stress on finishing it, but really making it a perfect piece, at least in my eyes. It gave me the patience to do what I love to do and so much more. The National Art Honor Society helped me decide my future in graphic design and what I plan to do when I leave the nest this year. What I learned through this program and what I gained is something I could never give up. I will carry the skills and hopefully my friends through the future as I travel further on. I started out as a wilting flower that had been kept from the sun and rain, but the art program in BG dragged me into the light and the beautiful rain and helped me bloom into the person I have become today. I'd like to thank the teachers, students, and my family who helped me grow to my full potential. I hope that the new inductees this year have just as an amazing experience as I did in BG, and that they too will blossom into this new step into the future.
Okay, that was incredible. I almost just started crying. But thank you, Molly, for such an incredible speech. Now it's time to announce and welcome all of our new members. Last year during the seniors induction, some seniors, including myself, were in lockdown and we could not complete many of the traditions set this induction apart. This year we'll be calling up the members who could not participate last year and the new members to give a symbolic offering and perform the ceremonial painting. To start this process, please give a warm welcome to Maggie Fitzgerald, who will be our announcer for this section.
A lot of artists would say that a piece of art is never really finished, and one could work on a single piece for a lifetime. In keeping in line with that symbolism, and as part of the formal induction, our members will take part in making their mark on a canvas started in our first induction ceremony many years ago. This canvas will continue to represent the constant work in progress that is this great art program at Bishop Guerin High School. As I call your name, Nicole last year's names, inductees, please come forward and make your mark. Caroline Sullivan. Han Jenny Pham. To welcome the new inductees, as I call your name, please come forward to make your mark. Abby Cannon. Bryn Boots Cooley. Claire Doyle. Caitlin Forsyth. Michelle Capalla. Min Ko. Julie McLaughlin. Hannah Pavletich. Ainsley Red. McKenna Reiki. Natalia Vertuccio. Qingning Wang. Kira Kai Walsh.
Thank you, Maggie, and thank you to all the members for being a part of this tradition. Let us welcome Michelle Paulison as our speaker today. Michelle is a BG graduate, class of 2008. She went to get a BA in Archaeology and Art History from Tufts University in 2012. Enrolled in a studio art program at the School of Museum of Fine Arts in Boston until 2015. And then completed an MA in the Conservation of Archaeological and Indigenous Materials from the UCLA Getty program in 2018. She's worked as an objects conservator in museums, university galleries, and on archaeological sites for the past 6 years and is currently a project conservator in the Natural Science Collection Conservation Lab at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. Since Michelle lives in New York, she has recorded her presentation to share with all of us. Without further ado, the incredible and talented Michelle Paulson.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful evening. My name is Michaela, and I graduated from Bishop Girton with a few of your teachers in 2008, which I guess seems like and probably is ages ago now. They've asked me to talk to you tonight as you're inducted into the National Art Honor Society about my professional path since high school, which has consistently included a blend of art and science, from archaeology and art history, which require some geology and biological anthropology, to my current work that blends all of those with studio art and chemistry. But first, I want to be really clear. I was never in the National Art Honor Society. I hope you're all very proud of yourselves for attaining this recognition. I can imagine the determination and creativity that it took to get here. Probably using some traits that you've had to consciously work on, and some that may have come more naturally to you. But either way, it's no accident that you're receiving this honor. You worked for it, so please accept my heartfelt congratulations. What I'd like to do for a few minutes is tell you a bit about me for context, a bit more about my job and how I get to do things every day that require art and see things that are widely considered to be art and that are cultural heritage materials. And then I'll show you my lab and studio where I'm doing some interdisciplinary research with art. I have a master's degree in art conservation, making me an art conservator. Not a conservationist. They work on wildlife and the environment. Sometimes we intersect, but I'm a conservator. And the arguably biggest goal of a conservator is to ethically and sustainably preserve, care for, and treat things that were made by humans and or, since I currently work in a natural history museum, things that are considered to be culturally relevant to humanity today. There are a lot of specialties within conservation, like paper and paintings and textiles, but I chose objects conservation, which theoretically gives me access to anything that's three-dimensional. Though I'm not super well versed in modern materials like plastics, they make me a little nervous. In practice, this means that I have a really vague and flexible skill set and resulting job description. I've done everything from the tiniest repairs and in-paintings on broken Egyptian ivory and alabaster to revarnishing historic architectural wood, to climbing scaffolding outside to clean and recoat outdoor bronze sculpture. And last year I stabilized a 75-foot canoe while it was suspended from a ceiling. I have loved all of it, and it has all required an eye for color, a sensitivity to texture, an understanding of the chemistry of degradation, and an appreciation for the intended effect of the art and unquestionable respect for the artists. In order to preserve something, to slow or halt its deterioration, you have to know how it's made. So that means its method of manufacture, things like how the artist joined the wood, or mixed the lacquer, or sourced the clay for the ceramic, or the minerals for the pigments in the paint or the glaze. But you also have to know how each component will respond to agents of deterioration, things like light and humidity. Does it swell? Does it shrink? Will it change color? That more scientific aspect of this job definitely doesn't overshadow the artistic one. Both are necessary to be a good conservator. You can't have just one. Everyone's priorities when looking at art differ in terms of value. Some see its monetary value, others its cultural or emotional value, some solely its aesthetic value. And depending on which audience is expected, curators can develop exhibitions to suit those values, one or more. And as a conservator, I can tailor my treatments to my audience, but I also have a responsibility to consider the original intent of the artist, which is really difficult to do if you've never done any art yourself. So, while I was not in the National Art Honor Society, because I didn't consider myself an artist, I thought I wanted to be an archaeologist. I did take a bunch of art classes in high school and in college, and I did end up in art school after I graduated college before I got my master's. While I was there, I learned the mechanics of making with all kinds of media. Three-dimensional works were my favorite. I had a particular affinity for metals. I liked ceramics and wood. And I talked a lot to budding artists and established artists about why they create what they do and what they want for their work now as they display it and in the future. And their incredibly varying opinions are very similar to the artists that I've spoken with as a conservator in museums and galleries. Some want their work to be ephemeral, to disappear as the component parts break down. And while this is heartbreaking to a conservator who's striving for permanence, it's an essential point to consider when approaching the treatment of such things. Painfully, not all art is supposed to last, materially. But even more that was meant to last is lost to human memory anyway, due to poor storage or vulnerable materials. So my job is to catch those things before they erase the evidence of human creativity and emotions and what we humans have valued for various reasons throughout time. Your art today will be evidence of what we value now, the content, but also the materials you choose. In order to both study the best ways to preserve and to actually carry out treatments, conservators work in spaces that operate as both an art studio with paints and inks and glues and brushes and easels and a million kinds of paper, and a science lab with analytical equipment and pH strips and scales and fume hoods. Right now, I'm not doing much treatment, though I have worked on bird taxidermy and some feathers in indigenous art in the anthropology department here. But I'm working on a research project that is evaluating the ways conservators, artists, regalia makers, and taxidermists create with and care for feathers and featherwork. In the lab, I have bins of samples that we've aged in an accelerated aging chamber, We hit them with light and heat to mimic many years of being on display in a short amount of time. We made them dirty with some standardized test dirts, things that are used to test your HVAC systems or your laundry detergents. And then we cleaned them with various methods that are in common use in the collection care world. With all of that experimentation, we extensively document the process. We use our digital microscope and photography setup to capture images of the feathers to compare their condition before and after cleaning. So in terms of analytical equipment, the biggest thing that we use is this digital microscope, which Z-stacks images, which means, when you're looking through a stereo microscope and you have to sort of constantly change focus when you're looking at something that's got topography that has highs and lows, this will take this kind of surface that has highs and lows and it will do the stacking for you so that you end up with this image that when you zoom in on it is in focus, regardless of how high or how low the highs and lows are. So you can see all of this incredible detail without having to constantly zoom in and out, and you can capture it so that it sticks around. This will help us rank those cleaning methods from best to worst in a variety of situations. We've also moved on to a recoloring portion of the project, during which we airbrush or paint or dye feather samples and image them in the same ways to see where the colorant lies and how it affects the structure. And then, when we have to recolor faded feathers that are on display, we have an idea of which materials work best in the long and the short term. So I hope you've enjoyed this brief tour of my day and description of what I've done with my art background. And as a parting request, when you make your art, I humbly ask you to consider your materials and how you store your work. Some pigments are more light-fast, more resistant to fading than others. Some adhesives or glues or resins yellow over time, and others don't. Some cardboards off-gas and will cause problems for photographs and plastics that are sensitive. And if you want your art to last, talk to a conservator. I'm always happy to answer questions, as are many of my colleagues. Or do a little digging on your material options, and you'll have a better shot at something verging on eternity, or at least a couple hundred years. And finally, congratulations again on your induction into NAHS. I hope you continue to experiment with different media and content and that you never stop creating. Thanks for having me, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thanks. There we go. Thanks, Vaughn. All right. That's annoying. All right. Even though Michaela, not Michelle, me and my parents will laugh about that later, could not be in person with us today, we still thank her very much for sharing with us and inspiring us. With that, we conclude our induction tonight. I invite Abby Cannon up to the stage with our closing remarks.
Hello everyone, my name is Abby Cannon and I just wanted to say a couple of things before ending our induction ceremony tonight. I want to start by thanking Michaela for sharing her wonderful presentation with us tonight. Now I would like to congratulate and thank both new and veteran inductees for being here tonight. To the returning seniors, I am very happy to be part of this induction and the art community. This is definitely something we will remember, and we thank everyone who helped make this possible. To the new inductees, congratulations for all your hard work and flexibility and all that has been thrown at you this year. I would like to thank Miss B, Miss Fletcher, and Miss Karlstrom for not only organizing the ceremony, but also for their dedication and time that they put into NAHS. We would not have been able to start all of the murals and projects without your help. Thank you for always being so supportive with all of our crazy ideas. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight, especially Miss Brodeur, Mr. Gorell, and Mr. Strinisty. We really appreciate your support and presence. I now invite you all to join us in the lobby to view the artwork that we have displayed and enjoy some food and drinks. I again thank everyone for joining us, and congratulations to everyone inducted.